The free $20,000 MLB 10 runs for free cash contest is now live at SBRforum.com. What is the contest? It's simple. Each day in a designated SBR forum post, you pick one team that you think will score 10 or more runs that day. You qualify to win $100 that day if you are correct. Each day the game continues, you pick another team. And every time your team scores 10 runs, you'll be adding onto your total score. The contest is split into 3 segments, and at the end of each segment, the top scorer split $2,500. And at the conclusion of the contest, there's even more cash up for grabs, in total over $20,000. And I know what you're thinking. You can just pick the Yankees every day and win. No, you can only pick the same team once per week. Check out the link in the description for more info and see you in the SBR forum for the contest.
Folks, welcome into SportsBookReview.com. It's Tuesday, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. We are the SportsBookReview.com Major League Baseball team. I'm Donnie Seymour, along with Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. It's time to get it on a Tuesday. A full card today. It's hot. It's muggy throughout Major League Baseball. I think a lot of baseball is going to be hit into the seats. The only question is, can we pick those right players to hit the baseball into the seats? Welcome into the show, Jason. It is a Tuesday. It's action-packed. Big day on the card today.
Yeah, and unlike yesterday, there's some better spots on the card. We did warn you guys yesterday it wasn't the best card, so we hope you guys, kept your money in your pockets a little bit and waited till today to fire on some action. But yeah, back with it today. Yesterday, with all those value plays and everything, wasn't the best day, but we'll be back and we'll hit with an official play today.
Yeah, I circled 6 games that I like team totals on. I got to tell you, it was razor thin between the one I'm going to choose over the value menu wager play. So some good stuff out there on the card today, Kyle. It's a Tuesday. As I said, hot and muggy conditions here on the East Coast for Major League Baseball. Good to see here in the dog days of August.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday's card was just pure unadulterated trash, right? And we kind of knew it going in, but it was a brutal day. Got a couple home run props. That's about it. Some teams got put on my shit list. You're welcome. Seattle Mariners, you're right there. Even though I know they won the game, but they didn't win it how I wanted them to win it. So there's all that. But yeah, nice card today. Hot weather. Got some bad pitchers. Got some good team totals on the board. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's have some fun today and get after it. But before we do that here, thank you guys for all the support that you give us here on the network. 87,600 subscribers as we cruise down the path to football season. A lot of big things going on around the channels, but also 2 big contests. One that's going on right now, and that is the Major League Baseball contest with the overs, as we like to call it. Lee Martin explained it in a video just short there. If you take a look at the top of the chat box there, you see that yellow highlighted SBR Sports Picks. Click on that for more information. If you need to get a link, there's one right below where we're talking here, sbrpicks.com/Major League Baseball. And also keep in mind, coming up here shortly for us, that is the Pick 6 contest all season long, $50,000 up for grabs, $1,600 a week. If you like NCAA football, fantastic. If you like pro football, great. If you like them both, even better. Mix and match, as long as you have those 6 plays in each week. Take down those weekly prizes and also cash in this season with SportsBookReview.com. We do not have any afternoon baseball today, so we can get directly into it because we have a game coming up shortly here in the afternoon, so nothing on the live card. We got Seattle and Oakland, Flexen and Irvin today. 3:37 start time here on the East Coast. Obviously, that's out on the West Coast. It is an early day game out there in Oakland. 151, 158s, 160s across the board here. If we take a look, an 8.5 across the board as well. Flexen, not one of my favorite pitchers, but when you look at these atmospheres, and I said it yesterday on the show, we're over bettors primarily. That card screamed unders across the board, because when you take a look at it, when your teams are fighting for playoff position, actually, as the Oakland Athletics are and the Seattle Mariners, every single run means so much in these games. I see 8.5 on the board, a pitcher's ballpark. I want to lean towards the under once again here in this game, Jason.
Yeah, it's tough because Irvin, in the last 30 days, does have a 5.96 xFIP and is striking out just 12.8% of batters. The ground ball rate low, the line drive rate is high, hard contact rate also high. So Irvin been a little bit, bad as of late. Did allow 3 runs to the White Sox, did allow 5 runs to Texas, then faced Texas again before that and allowed 2 runs in 7 innings. So there's room for Irvin to struggle. But then you look at this lineup for Seattle, they haven't been great against lefties. The one guy that has some power, that's Seager. Outside that, there's a lot of inconsistency in that lineup for the Mariners. Then you go to Oakland, their lineup looks a little bit better against Flexen. Flexen hasn't been all that great either when it comes to xFIP, although he has performed pretty well in the month of August. 4.30 xFIP, striking out under 20% of batters. We know he's not a big strikeout guy. Well, the big thing here against righties, in his last 74 plate appearances against righties, 431 weighted OBA, ISO 211, striking out just 12.2% of batters. The lineup for the Athletics should have a bunch of righties in the lineup. I'm assuming at least 6 righties in the lineup for the Athletics. Then you also have power bats like Olsen and Brown, 2 lefty bats that will be in the lineup that can do some damage as well. So I like the Athletics more in this game. Both pitchers, they've been a little odd. They could have bad performances and then also pitch quality starts. So be careful, especially in this ballpark. But I do like the Athletics more. And if you're going to take a team total, it would be Athletics in this one, especially in the first 5.
Yeah, it looks like the A's here. The lineup that they have out on the card, not too bad today. K percentages look great outside of Matt Chapman striking out 42% of the time versus right-handed pitchers. It does look like a decent lineup. I always lean towards Oakland here, specifically at the Coliseum and going up against Seattle. A little offensively challenged, but they were able to get the victory last night by, down in the 9th inning, tying up the game and then taking the lead. So tough going there for the Oakland Athletics. Don't seem to be able to gain anything on the Astros. And that's the time you want to gain. When the Astros are struggling or not putting up, statistics that we think are going to take place, you got to gain on this. So, Kyle, take a look at this game in the early afternoon, Seattle and Oakland. Jason brought up some pretty good points here. I don't know how Cole Irvin gets anybody out. His xFIP is close to 6. But then again, I'll go again and fade him. He's going to get rocked, and he'll go 6 innings, 1 earned run, which wouldn't if we had the Philadelphia Phillies when they had him. This guy couldn't pitch 3 innings without giving up 6 moonshots. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the ballpark. Maybe it's just a better pitching coach overall, but I still lean towards the Oakland Athletics today, even with Irvin on the mound.
Yeah, and happy birthday to our boy Michael in the chat box. There you go. I like to give people those birthday shout-outs. I don't want anything to do with this game. Absolutely. The Mariners and the A's, 2 teams, the Mariners have been good live dogs all year long, and I think they are live dogs today. If you want to fade Cole Irvin, which I want to do, you look at his last 2 starts against Seattle's been absolutely rocked, has done nothing good against this team. You can get the Mariners plus 135 on the money line in the first 5 innings and just fully fade Irvin and assume Flexen's going to outpitch him. But then again, the A's lineup does profile better off of Flexen than the Mariners do off of Irvin. So it's kind of a difficult spot here. I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole. I don't trust either of these teams. I certainly can't take the A's as favorites nowadays. It's just something that doesn't give me a whole lot of joy on the inside. They will certainly let you down as favorites. They've done it time and time and time again this year. So if I was going to bet it, I would swallow my disdain for the Mariners. I would take that plus 135 money line, take the dog or pass, a full fade of Cole Irvin. I think he's one of the bottom tier lefties in the league. It feels like he belongs on the St. Louis Cardinals. So for me, it's a dog or pass situation. I'll take the underdog price on the Mariners because I don't trust the A's. But for my money, staying the hell away.
Yeah, well, hot and sunny there, 62 degrees. Amazing, man. It's the middle of the August, and the afternoon in Oakland is 62 degrees. Unbelievable stuff here. Let's keep going down the list here. The city of brotherly love, I'll tell you where it's not 62 degrees. Here in Philadelphia, where it's hot and it's muggy, 975, 976. Tampa Bay and Philadelphia. Rasmussen going to be on the mound versus Suarez. Both of these guys, most people can't pick out on a milk carton here, but that's the way Tampa Bay gets down. Hey, who's their starter name? I have no idea. Never heard of this guy before. Well, congratulations. Probably going to pitch really well, and their bullpen's going to pitch really well. The lineup is going to hit here, but we'll see what happens today. Look at this line across the boards. Minus 110s, minus 115s. It's a slight favorite towards Tampa Bay in the spot. 9s across the board here. And as we take a look, trying to set the table, both of these teams should be able to hit tonight in Philadelphia. But that's always coulda, woulda, shoulda with the Philadelphia Phillies. Ranger Suarez has a high xFIP number, 4.81, but he has a legitimate lethal number versus lefties. Keep in mind he's a lefty. A 118 weighted on base average, a 0.0 ISO power number. Then the righties, the weighted on base average is a little bit high, but nobody's doing anything power-wise off Suarez, a .050. This is real interesting stuff. If Suarez can keep the ball in the strike zone and limit his walks, I don't know. I like Tampa outside the dome, but for some reason, getting a little negative vibes here in this game. Do I think the Phillies can win the game? Probably not, because again, Suarez is pitching, which he could go maybe 4 or 5 innings, and yeah, he handed off to that bullpen for the Philadelphia Phillies in hot, muggy conditions. It's a tough game, but I agree with basically a coin flip in this one between these two teams. Not great pitching, and maybe you just trust that bullpen more for Tampa Bay here, Jason.
Yeah, like you said, this is a bullpen game, right? Rasmussen, He's normally came out of the bullpen. He was involved in the Adames trade, and then that came over. And now you're getting 4 innings a start here for the Rays. And, of course, Suarez, another guy, not going to go deep in games, a guy that was originally in the bullpen, hasn't, pitched more than, hasn't gone 5 innings yet on the season. And then in his last start against Arizona, he walked 4 batters, gave up 8 hits, allowed 3 runs. A lot of it was ground balls, right? 14 ground balls to 4 fly balls. So it wasn't as bad as it might have looked. Still, Suarez, a 1.47 ERA and a whip of 1.02. So he's not terrible, but those walks getting a lot higher, especially now that he's starting games instead of being in relief. That fatigue obviously setting in, and also just struck out 2 batters in that game against Arizona while walking those 4 and giving up 3 runs. So I think Suarez is starting to maybe leak a little bit, not be as great of a pitcher as he was in that relief role. And with that, I think the Rays are the better team, especially in the first 5. Now, again, we talk about this, right? Rasmussen and Suarez, both of these pitchers are not going to go more than 5 innings. So you'd be crazy to go and bet this game beyond 5 innings full game, because the reality is you're going to get a bullpen game from both, and you don't know what pitchers are going to be pitching on either side. Now, of course, the Rays bullpen is way better. So if you want to go that route, then take the Rays in the full game. But still, like the Rays in the first 5 as well here against Ranger Suarez. I think that he's starting to fatigue a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here because I think Suarez probably go 5 innings, and it's one of those things we preach all the time. Why bet this game before it starts? Once Ranger Suarez exits, the fun seems to begin with other baseball teams when they play the Philadelphia Phillies, particularly in Philadelphia. I think it lines up perfectly, Kyle. What do you think of tonight in this game between the Rays and the Phillies?
Colleen's quite astute, saying the Rays strike out a lot, but they haven't over the last 30 days, as we were talking about before the show, especially against lefties. I like the Rays team total here, over 4.5 minus 110. I just think they profile nicely. It's the highest weighted 3-year OPS of any team versus pitcher on the slate today. That Rays team total is a little bit low to me. I like the lineup in DFS. You can go ahead and stack them. Someone asked about Nelson Cruz being out, but from what I'm seeing, Nelson Cruz should be in the lineup tonight. I think his home run prop is absolutely live. We've got advantages up and down the board for Tampa Bay: 35, 29, 67, 2, 71, 54, and 9%. I like the Rays team total. I think it's absolutely live, over 4.5. It's a nice number at minus 110. And in that same vein, Ranger Suarez has not recorded 5 strikeouts a single time this year, not once. And for some odd reason, his number is under 4.5 strikeouts at BetMGM at minus 155. So I will take the under strikeout prop as well. I know for the season they've struck out a lot, but not recently against lefties. Suarez certainly not a strikeout pitcher. And then once Suarez is out, again, you get that Phillies bullpen. So you have opportunities to scores from the first inning all the way up until that 9th inning. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Tampa Bay will get those full 9 at-bats being on the road. The one bummer is that, of course, you have to have the pitcher hit for Tampa Bay. You don't like that for those American League teams. But I think the Rays over 4.5 minus 110 looks too good. I got to take it. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be talking about that later in another category.
Yeah, we'll see how it lines up tonight because it is interesting because Suarez, as Jason pointed out, 55 innings pitched, a 1.47 ERA, which is crazy when you think about it. They're trying to stretch him out to be a starter. We'll see how it goes tonight. Both teams should be rested in this one. I guess you could say you have a healthy bullpen or a rested bullpen for the Phillies, but hey, it is what it is in this one. It'll see how it goes down. I'll certainly be rooting on the Phillies, but I have my hand on the clicker once this game gets like the 4th inning. If Tampa or the Phillies don't have any runs, let the fun begin in this one with depressed team totals. But a good one in Philly. We'll see if Tampa Bay can keep up there and hold off those New York Yankees right now who are cruising double-digit win streak. We'll see if they can hit that one again. We'll talk about that game a little bit later. But how about the night card here? And again, I guess this is just the Dodgers saying we are so goddamn talented. It doesn't matter who's on the mound. We are just going to win every single damn night, it feels like, because they're going up against the Padres tonight. Oh, no pitcher, no problem. Minus 146 here in New Jersey with a total of 9 across the board. The San Diego Padres, I'm going to tell you right now, they are in trouble. They are not making the playoffs. They currently are sitting up 1 game back, I guess, from the Reds in the wild card. Do me a favor if you have some time out there today. Go look at the schedule for the San Diego Padres starting September 10th and on, and whatever money you have, just laugh at the Padres because they have 0.0 shot at getting any wild card here. But here they are lined up against the Dodgers tonight as an underdog. Take a look, Jason. What do we got tonight?
Yeah, looks like Pierce Johnson is going to be the starter for today's game for the Padres. I don't think they announced the Dodgers starter just yet. Look, this is obviously really tough to handicap at this moment in time. But like you're talking about, the Padres obviously have not been a great baseball team. Their schedule really hard. They just fired their pitching coach in Rothschild. So, yeah, everything kind of going downhill for the Padres and the Dodgers. They've been pretty hot. Yeah, they've faced some poor teams, but they've been hot as of late. So I probably would go with the Dodgers here. I don't think we know the pitcher just yet. So, yeah, I'm not, I don't know what to, how else to go with this. But, yeah, the Padres, they are, they're falling apart, and you don't want to bet them right now.
No, you certainly don't. By the way, just really quickly here to let you guys know what that September and on schedule looks like. 3 games on the road against Los Angeles, followed by 4 straight games on the road at San Francisco, followed by 3 straight games on the road at St. Louis. That's a 10-game road trip there starting September 10th. And, it gets easier when you get home, right? 3 straight games against San Francisco, 3 straight games against Atlanta. Then you go on the road for the final 6 games of the season at Los Angeles and at San Francisco. I've never seen anything like this in my life. That is absolutely hilarious. Jason, when we talk about the Mets, having a tough schedule, I have never seen a 3-week period of teams you're going to have to face. Literally, I have no idea how they even compete down the stretch here, but it is what it is. Just looking at today, Kyle, what are you taking a look at here between the Dodgers and the Padres?
I mean, it's got to be the Dodgers, and we're talking about this a lot. I know it's injuries and whatnot, but these cans that the Padres are just throwing out there every day, like what the hell is going on? I have Urias as listed for the Dodgers. That may or may not come to fruition. Who knows? The Dodgers kind of like to do that same thing lately too, it seems like. Don't really have any numbers here for the Dodgers, but I would lean that way. You'd want to do it in the first 5 innings because the Padres, for all those pitching woes they have with these starters are thrown out there, do have a solid bullpen. Been a heavily worked bullpen this year. We all know that. So it's a little bit tough to say like a Dodgers total full game if they end up getting to that bullpen early. But yeah, I do like the Dodgers here. I do think they should be able to get it done. When I look at Urias here against the Padres, his last 5 starts, 4 of them, 13 fantasy points or less. So the Padres have found a way to hit him. So there is some risk there. For me, these ones are the Dodgers-Padres games are so tough. They tend to be exciting to watch. We don't really have great numbers. Wait till the game starts. Maybe live bet the Dodgers, or maybe you get a repressed total once the numbers actually come out here. It's Dodgers or bust. Can't trust the Padres right now, especially when they're putting, Pierce Brosnan's pitching. Pierce somebody, Bond is pitching. Whoever the hell is pitching for the Padres, how you're supposed to back that? It's Dodgers or bust here.
No, I certainly see that same point as well. It'll be tough going for the Padres, and this is coming from me, over the summer, midway through the season. Like, yeah, Padres, it's going to be interesting. You're going to get 3 teams in the NL West. I was saying it, through April, May, and June. Like, they're getting 3 teams in, no sweat. And that looks like the Padres. You want to talk about just leaking oil and then coming up against that schedule? It just doesn't look all that well for them. And maybe the Reds kick open that door and try to get in and say, hey, we're going to make the playoffs now with one of those spots that maybe we didn't think we're going to. So we'll see how it winds up in Major League Baseball. Let's get to some value menu wager plays on the card today. Lost mine yesterday. Thank you, Oakland. You had 3.5. You couldn't get the 4 runs in that game. Had multiple chances. I always love the, late in the game, 1 out, man on third. You just can't do anything because that guy's an – is there I guess there's going to be a way to bet. I saw coming out today, whatever DraftKings is doing, they bought a company that's going to specialize in in-game wagers, which means you can actually bet like that at bat, a base hit, a strike, or whatever it's going to be. If I have any bets in baseball, as soon as the guy gets on third with less than 1 out, I'm just auto-betting the strikeout every single – how can you not make money when it's going to be like plus 300 every time? It's amazing. It seems like it always happens here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here. 376 people watching live. I'm going to go today. This was a close one. I like the Colorado Rockies today. I like them in Chicago. There is some rain in the forecast, but doing my due diligence in this one, maybe a little bit later start, but it looks like it should clear out. We're talking about 88 degrees in Chicago at first pitch tonight. We're talking about winds blowing out. A good-looking lineup here for the Colorado Rockies going against an average pitcher with an average bullpen. There's no reason to believe here they can't get 5 runs in this ballgame tonight. And as I say that, there's one guy in this lineup that is on my card possibly tonight for a Dinger Tuesday. I won't release which guy that actually is, but that's the way I'm looking. I'm going to go with that tonight. I think Colorado gets the 5 runs tonight, Jason. What are you looking at here for your value menu wager plays?
Yeah, so Spencer Watkins on the mound for the Orioles. Ooh. And, I'm seeing a lot of people out there thinking the Orioles have a chance today to get the upset. I'm thinking the opposite here. The Orioles, they've lost 18 straight games, so I don't know how anyone in the right mind could think the Orioles have a chance of winning any game right now. And sure, maybe they eventually, look, they're due to get a win, but it's not going to be this one. There's guys like Ohtani, guys like Stassi that have some power going up against a righty and Watkins. Watkins doesn't strike out many batters, 10.5% strikeouts. And if you look at this lineup for the Angels, 8 of them, 8 out of the 9 batters are hitting hard contact against righties. So if these guys are connecting with the ball, it's going to be hard hit contact, line drive contact, and it's not going to be on the ground type of contact. So I like the Angels as long as they could, obviously make contact with the ball, and they should be able to against Watkins, even though they do strike out 25.7% of the time. If they can keep their strikeouts down and put the ball in play, I think we'll see a ton of runs against Watkins in this one. So Angels over 2.5 in the first 5 on the team total at -136 is the value play for me.
There you go, Kyle. Where are we going on the value on your card tonight?
Well, I'm getting a little nervous because everyone seems to like this, but I got to go to it. It's a fade of Luzardo and a fade of this Marlins bullpen. You're getting the Nationals team total over 3.5 at -135. I thought it was going to be juiced higher than that because I saw a lot of outlets with 4.5, and I thought it was going to be way juiced. That's a pretty good number here. We're talking
good number.
7 out of 8 hitters tonight have a projected 3-year advantage of 34% or more. Juan Soto smashes lefties and righties. I think the home run prop is live there. I love this young kid, Lane Thomas, at the bottom of the order, who's been absolutely on fire for Washington. 19 or more fantasy points in 4 straight games for Lane Thomas. Love what this kid is doing, and it's not with home runs. He's hitting doubles, triples, he's doing everything. Luzardo, an absolute can on the mound. We all know it. He can, when he's on, he does have a lot of movement with his pitches. He does have some stuff that moves, but this guy's just giving up way too much hard contact. They're trying to throw him out there for way too long, and you're getting that Marlins bullpen. If the Nats can't get to 4 runs tonight against Luzardo in that bullpen, I don't know when they can. Nats team total over 3.5 -135 seems too easy. I know a lot of people are on it now, so it makes me a little nervous. But the numbers tell me, don't be scared. Let's get it done. I like that Nats team total.
Yeah, another shrewd move by those Marlins, moving on from Marte to get that stud Luzardo in there. Hey, that's what it is down there in Miami. So maybe they can pick things up over the remainder of the baseball season. Let's have some fun here with some odds boosted as we take these off into the moon. I got a good one tonight. I've been having some success with these overall. It's when they include mostly at Fox Bet, the 3-team parlays. And the good part about that is as well is, yes, it is an odds boost there, plus 250, but you can find these anywhere. Like, hey, Donnie, I don't get Fox Bet, or it's not in my state. Well, if you have DraftKings, or if you have, FanDuel, you can parlay those together and still get those same type of things. So it would be Harper, Bogarts, and Miguel Cabrera each to get at least 1 hit tonight. That's boosted from that 175 range to plus 250. These are my favorite ones to go after. Give me 3 legitimate hitters just to get 1 base hit each. I'm all in on those. I'm going to plus 250 on that one tonight. Put a little bit of money down. Been having some success with those. That's where I'm looking on my odds boost. Jason, what do you got today across the board?
Yeah, so I've tried this twice now on William Hill and lost by 1 run via a solo home run in both games. But I'm going for it again. If we hit 1 in the next 6, then we'll be profitable. So Cardinals to shut out the Tigers at plus 650. Jack Flaherty on the mound has looked really good, obviously, all season. He's 9-1 with a 2.68 ERA. There's really just 3 guys in the Tigers lineup that that can do much damage against righties. That's Grossman, that's Cabrera, and Candelario. Yeah, Cabrera, now he got that 500th home run. Maybe a little pressure's off him, and he could produce a little bit, but at the end of the day, this lineup, 141 ISO, weighted OBA 288, striking out nearly 25% of the time and walking under 10% of the time. Flaherty's looked really good all season, has a whip of .96, and really doesn't allow too many base runners at all. And since coming back, he's looked just fine as well. So we're going to go with that plus 650 for the Cardinals on William Hill. It's a boost, and we're going to roll with that today.
All right, there we go, Kyle. Where's your odds boost? Make one up.
All right.
Make one up.
I'm going to have an. Here's the thing. I know I love Donnie. He's done a ton for me in my career. It helps me out. So I love Donnie, and I know he loves these odds boosts to the moon and back. No pun intended with the thing. So I did decide to find one, even though I try to tell him every day how much I hate him and I don't want to pick one. I'm going to pick one because I love him and he knows I do. Fernando Tatis has hit 6 home runs in 9 games this year against the Dodgers. Got the lefty Urias on the mound. He's only 1 for 8 in his career. But you're getting him at DraftKings. If he gets 2+ RBIs, boosted from 450 to 525. I mean, it's one swing of the bat for Fernando Tatis. So I'll take that one. We'll take Tatis, 2+ RBIs boosted at DraftKings from 450 to 525. It's a nice number. One swing of the bat. Good price. Good player. Let's get it done.
Bloop and a blast there. Somebody single in front of him. Tatis goes yard. By the way, hey, man, Tatis, last time Last Tuesday, dinger. There you go. Chalk it up. Maybe gets another one tonight. But he is not circled for me tonight on my card. As I said, I have 2 guys ready to go, depending on the lineups that come out. See if we can hit that 8th straight number. I probably put that at, what's it about, maybe 3 o'clock Eastern. Once those final lineups get out, sometime between that 5:30 to 6 o'clock range, we'll be in play tonight for Dinger Tuesday. See if we can have some fun. I could lose my next, 10 straight weeks, I guess, in Dinger Tuesday and still be profitable, which is hilarious. So we'll see if we can have some fun with that as well. Let's keep it moving here. Best bets on the Major League Baseball board. I'm on a 2-game losing streak here, but still sit decent, 35-15 on the season. You're going to have some regression. Some things don't work out, and you have to continue to trust the numbers. Can't shy away from plays that you do like. I was very close on the Colorado team total over the 4.5 there as my best play, but I downshifted a bit, and I'm going to go with the team tonight that, hey, hasn't played that great of baseball over the past month, but I'm going to trust the numbers that they make sense. It's going to be the Houston Astros tonight, team total over 4.5, minus 150, sitting at BetMGM. And I know people, hey, do you like the 5s? Do you like the 5.5s? Look, I didn't cap the game because I think they can just get to 5. But as you know us on the show, if there's a chance that we can keep it somewhat relative with the juice below, 155 or less, as I like to say, keeping it below 5, that's exactly what we want. Singer's coming back, 2 starts back since going on the IL 717 or being sent down. 3 2/3, he came back, gave up 10 hits and 5 earned runs, but he did pitch well against Houston in his last outing. 6 2/3, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. I love the fact that he just saw them on the 18th. It's going to come right back and see this baseball team again. I think the advantage goes in the Houston's way. And take a look at the last 30 days here for the Houston lineup. When we take a look at weighted on base averages versus right-handed pitching, Singer's not a great pitcher. 380, 390, 311, 377, 370, 328, 326, 329, and 417 out of the 9-hole batter. I think they'll be able to wake up tonight. Also, keep in mind, if Singer does go into the 5th, 6th, or 7th inning, if he's pitching well, you still have a relatively low-end bullpen in Kansas City with an ERA on the road of around 5. I think they bounce back tonight because also when you take a look at the last couple of outings here, you say, hey, they lost their last game. I understand that. But also let's take a look. That broke a streak at the plate of 10 hits, 15 hits, 15 hits, 12 hits, and they had 7 against the Kansas City Royals last night. If you're going to give me 10 hits, a chance for 10 hits, I'll take that team total all day long. Give me the Houston Astros, 4.5, minus 150 is my play of the day here at BetMGM. That's where I'm going. We're hitting tonight, and as I like to say, give me that 5 and 5. Take it away, Jason. What do you got tonight on your best bet and banker?
Well, first off, I was told that my over-under for saying yeah is at 15.5.
Did you say yeah again?
A couple of the guys in the chat, they took the over, so I just want to help them win a couple of bets early on, because that's some good mojo. So I just want to say yeah. So now you got who got
man of the people,
and now we can start with some good mojo for the day. So just wanted to help you out there, and everyone else that bet the over there. But my bet, the Nats over 2, team total in the first 5 at minus 110. Kyle already talked about this one. Luzardo, 6.93 xFIP in his last 30 days, a 19.1% strikeout rate, and walking 18% of batters. So basically walking just as many batters as he's striking out. Now, against righties, as the left-handed pitcher, he has a 436 weighted LBA in the last 76 plate appearances against righties, also 273 ISO, striking out 18.4% of batters and walking 21.1% of batters. So it's really, really bad against righties. We don't know what the lineup's going to look like. There could be 6 righties in the lineup. There could be some more lefties in the lineup. But what we do know is the Nationals, they've hit against lefties really well with a bunch of their players. If they're in the starting lineup or they're on the bench, they'll make the lineup that makes the most sense against Luzardo here. Luzardo, since being a Marlin, 17.2 innings pitched, 21 hits, 19 runs, 16 walks, and 17 strikeouts with 33 fly balls and 21 ground balls. So in those 4 starts for the Marlins, a 9.68 ERA. He's been terrible. And again, the Nationals lineup, the projected lineup right now with Thomas, Escobar, Soto, Bell, Kieboom, Robles, Adams, and Garcia, and of course the pitcher, 207 ISO, weighted LBA, 389, striking out under 20% of the time, also walking 11.4% of the time. The biggest fact here, though, the Nationals, that lineup, 25.2% line drive contact against lefties in the last 30 days. And this is on a sample size of about 30 plate appearances per player in the lineup. So that's a lot of line drives against lefties for this lineup. So love the Nationals here. We're going to take them over 2 in the first 5 on the team total at -110. Of course, I agree with the 2.5 in the first 5, and I also agree with that full game team total that Kyle talked about as well. So we're going to go with the Nationals in this one.
And by the way, on the show, Jason does not listen to us in his headphones. Yes, it is Nickelback and Creed on repeat there, Kyle. Best Bets and Bankers, where are you at today?
Nickelback, Peloton. That's freaking hilarious. Look, I might have to start doing some workouts on Peloton now that I can't post my videos on OnlyFans. My big money maker on OnlyFans is gone, so now I got to start doing Peloton workouts. Let's go, No, if you saw this pony keg I got down here, there's no damn Peloton in this house. It's sad reality. So I'm going back to that Tampa Rays game. It's just a full fade of that bullpen and Ranger Suarez for me. I like the righties in the lineup today. I think with Nelson Cruz being activated yesterday, there were some questions about that. They did put him on the temporary COVID list. He tested negative. He was reactivated, so he should be ready to go today. Arozarena, Wander Franco, Yandy Diaz, Manuel Margot, all these guys profile beautifully off Suarez and, of course, the rest of the Phillies bullpen. So my play of the day is going to be that Rays team total over 4.5, and I love the number at -110. This is not -140, 135. I think it's a great number. It's very realistic. We're getting one of the worst bullpens in baseball. For me, the highest weighted OPS of a pitcher versus lineup today. So, yeah, we're going there. And, of course, in that same vein, that Ranger Suarez under 4.5 strikeouts at -155.
Yeah, a lot of people knocking Creed and Nickelback out there, but somehow know all these lyrics. So I don't know what gives.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah.
I'm singing in my
great
head right
stuff
now.
here as we go
I got
over
arms wide open, baby. Arms wide
there you
open.
go. You got to get that nice, take you back. What was it, Thanksgiving Day when Creed performed before the Cowboys game, whatever it was? I mean, that's sensational stuff etched in the memories out here. Let's get to the odds lightning round because there are a lot of games to get to. Maybe we can find something here that we can pick up the bone. 951, 952, Arizona and Pittsburgh. Bumgarner, the lefty, versus Brubaker. How about this? -110s, -105s. Now flipping to a favorite to Arizona, Madison Bumgarner. -124 here in New Jersey. 8.5s across the board. I got again, man. There's some good baseball games to watch, and maybe you're getting ready for NCAA football this weekend or the preseason. Because I just take a look at that Pittsburgh lineup, like, man, Jason, help us out on this one. Could Mayabum throw a no-hitter against this team?
Look, Arizona, their pitchers, they're just very random, right? Like we saw Gilbert get the no-hitter, and we've seen Gallen be really good and really bad. Also, we've seen Bumgarner have some, really, really great games this year. He also had a 7-inning no-hitter this year as well. So the Diamondbacks, I guess they had some sneaky pitchers for whatever, that's worth. But, this is a game between two really bad teams, right? Pittsburgh and Arizona. We saw, runs yesterday, probably see runs again today. Although Bumgarner, what he's done well, he hasn't walked many batters, 2.9% of walks. The batting average of balls in play just sitting at 238. And really, the weighted OBA on both sides hasn't been terrible either, with the 218 against lefties and the 274 against righties. With him being a lefty, that's pretty good against righties as well. So if I had to choose, I would take the Diamondbacks here. I think they do have the better offense. They have lefties against Brubaker like Rojas, like Van Meter, like Varsho. All those guys can do some damage against righties. And, the thing is, Brubaker has been really bad against lefties, 460 weighted OBA, and ISO of 500 to lefties in the last 30 days. That's brutal. So there's guys in the Diamondbacks lineup that can do damage as lefties against the righties. So I would side with the Arizona Diamondbacks in this one.
All right, there we go. By the way, I swear to God tonight, if I get that 5th run by the 5th inning with Houston, I am blasting Creed. Can you take me? I mean, this chat box is on fire today, by the way.
Tell Alexa to play it. Just say, hey, Alexa, throw it on and just let it ride. Love it.
With pleasure. Yep, exactly. 965 at 966. Bundy and Watkins on the mound tonight. Ooh. Exciting times. Here's Bundy comes back to Oriole Park at Camden Yards, and he's favored. -134 in New Jersey, -127 offshore, 10.5. I mean, no reason to believe. Like, is somebody be like, you know what, I love the under in this one, Kyle? Is somebody out there talking about that?
I don't know how you can. And isn't it crazy to think of Dylan Bundy as a -135 favorite? It's kind of scary. And then you look, oh, yeah, it's Spencer Watkins on the other side. I was really, really close to taking the chat box is cracking me up. I didn't know the guy from Creed is hooking up with Avril Lavigne. He's a little skater boy. Man. And why do I remember all the lyrics from these damn stupid songs? I remember them all. I can't remember the picks I made earlier in the show, but I can remember Avril Lavigne lyrics. I need to really recalculate my life and figure out what's going on here.
Skater boy.
Exactly. Exactly. What the hell is going on? Yeah. Look, you can't back the Orioles and Spencer Watkins. It's scary to take Dylan Bundy as a favorite, right? I mean, that's just plain and simple. That's scary. But you do got to like the Angels here. You got to like the team total. Both teams have horrible bullpens. Both teams have horrible starters going out on the mound. The only reason I didn't take the Watkins under strikeout prop is the Angels just strike out a little bit too much. And the last time I took a Watkins strikeout prop, it's a team that struck out a lot. He burned me, and I was a little afraid after Paul Blackburn burned me yesterday with the Mariners, so I have some PTSD there. But you lean the Angels here. You can't trust their bullpen, so you're going to want to do it in the first 5 innings. You actually get a nice number, minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 105. If you want to take the money line and give yourself an out with the push, it's at minus 135. So it's Angels or bust here. The Orioles, I mean, they haven't won since, we still had troops in Afghanistan, so they haven't.
You're not even
the airport was safe, so you got to go with the Angels here until the Orioles prove they can win.
There you go. 967, 968 playoff baseball atmosphere. Toronto got away with one last night. Interesting that a pitcher was pulled a little bit early than I thought last night for a bullpen that should be dominant. We're talking about UK Craig Kimbrell, and he gives up the winning run 2-1 last night for the Toronto Blue Jays. But now we come back to a slight favorite here for Barrios and the Toronto Blue Jays. 9s across the board. Jason, what are we thinking in this one?
Yeah, I think we see another under game in the first 5 innings. He's striking out 33% of batters in the last 30 days. That's been really, really good stuff. And, the ISO power numbers on both sides really aren't that bad. The strikeout numbers to righties and lefties also really good. Cease has looked really good. And then you look at the other side with Barrios. He's been awful against lefties, but he's been, fine against righties. And the lineup going to have mostly righties in the lineup. The guys that do the most damage against righties, Robert, Abreu, Jimenez, all righties. So those are the guys that you're scared of the most in the lineup. And, the one thing Barrios is good against, he's good against righties. And then the lefties like Hernandez, Moncada, Goodwin, Collins, they've all been kind of poor against righties within the last 30 days. So not much to like out of that White Sox lineup. Now, I probably would give the slight edge to the White Sox. I do think they have a little bit better of an offense, and maybe those lefties like Goodwin, who was hot earlier in the season, could do damage against Barrios. And Barrios obviously doesn't have as high of a strikeout rate as Cease does. Also, the walks are a little bit higher as well. So I would go look at the White Sox here for this game, but I do think we'll see an under in the first 5 innings.
All right, there we go. Keep moving down the list here. San Francisco and New York Mets. I got to say, Kyle, these are both legitimate plays that I like, and also not bad on the juice numbers. Now, most times I joke about that force field at Citi Field. You can't hit the ball out of the ballpark. But taking a look at both teams at 3.5 as their team totals, and both sitting at 140, what's the worst case scenario for me in this one? One wins and one doesn't. All right, you juice out at the minus 140 level. But I think legitimately both of these teams have a decent chance of getting over. You have a couple lefties you're going to stack up for San Francisco. You can stack a lot of right-handed batters for the New York Mets. Hey, it's the Mets, Donnie. They stink. They can't get runs. I understand that. But you're not talking about two legitimate, dominant pitchers on the mound. Hey, it's hot. It's muggy. Maybe you got some hitting conditions for once here up in New York, Kyle.
Yeah. Look, Tyler McGill, and Jason always tells me, I've done first 5s and team totals against McGill, and I'm always pissed off. And he goes, just relax. In the 5th inning, he's going to fall apart. And I swear to God, it happens every single time. So that Giants team total at 3.5 is absolutely live. And so is the Mets. Look, the Mets don't score runs. But who the hell is this kid? Sammy Long? Who is this guy? I mean, this guy's terrible. Absolutely god-awful. So I do expect there to be runs in this game. I think the over 8.5 for the game is absolutely live. And both these lineups, look, the Pete Alonso home run prop is absolutely live off a kid like Sammy Long. You got that weather. You're out in New York. There's some odds boost with no runs in the first inning in this game. I'm not sure I trust that. But if you go with McGill's history, he did have 37 fantasy points in his last start against the Giants. So he was actually fairly effective in that start. Doesn't profile all that bad. I kind of lean the Mets here. I like the pitching advantage, I will say. Anytime you get the Giants at even money in the first 5 innings against anybody, they're a sneaky team there. But I like the Mets here. I think I'm going to lean the Mets. I think McGill can get it done. I like how the Mets lineup profiles against this Sammy Long character, whoever the hell for $1 trillion. If I walked right by him, I would have no idea this is a major league pitcher. Absolutely zero chance. Got to lean the Mets here. I kind of like the weighted 3-year OPS that I'm seeing against Long here at 833. It's the third highest on the card. Sammy Long has nothing more than 12 fantasy points over his last 6 starts. I didn't even know he was starting. I can't ever remember even seeing him on the card. I'm just confused by who the hell this guy is and that he's pitched any innings this week. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna throw Jason a bone here and lean his Mets. And is Lindor going to be in the lineup? Is he back in the lineup?
Potentially.
Oh, I mean, I'm going under then. Under.
Oh, yeah. If Lindor's in the lineup, if Lindor is in the lineup, then 100% under and 100% Giants. But if Lindor's out of the lineup, the Mets have a good shot here, and I'll lean the Mets.
Amen. And take a look at the chat box. There's 2 things about me, guys, you should know by now. Number 1, trust the picks I give out. Listen to those. Number 2, anything I say in the chat box, 99% of it absolutely has no bearing on anything. I did not grow up in the Oakland section of Pittsburgh. I did not bust at Hemingway's. But, hey, I'll insert myself into any stories in the chat box and have some fun because people still ask me to this day, did I play wide receiver for Duke when Spurrier was there? Because that was going around for a year. Like, hey, Donnie, did you play college? Yeah, I played for Duke in the early 1990s. Oh, did you? Yeah, sure. So trust me. Listen to the picks. Don't listen to anything else I goddamn say here on the air. But let's keep moving here and have some fun. But I love you guys. Chat box is awesome. You entertain me more than anything in my life. So keep firing away, and I'll keep making up stories to see if I can get a good laugh out of myself here. Washington and Miami. Fetty and Luzardo. How about across the board? 8s to 8.5s. A -150. Why is it only 8 at FanDuel at this point? I mean, we're talking about here with Fetty and Luzardo. Does that show how bad the lineups here? I can no way, shape, or form take an under 8 in this baseball game with these 2 pitchers on the mound. 2 bad teams between 2 bad bullpens. Somebody's got to score some runs in this, right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm going to be on the official play of the Nats over 2 in the first 5 on the team total at -110. I think it jumped up to -121 via points bet, but that's still solid value there. Of course, when you get that 2, if they don't score 3 somehow, some way, then they at least get the push. And but yeah, look, I love this lineup. Like we talked about it earlier, the Nationals, they profile really well against lefties, and Luzardo has been a disaster in his first 4 starts for the Marlins. So we're going to go the Nationals here, over 2 in the first 5. And also I know Kyle has a little play on that at 1 as well, over 3.5 in the full game, and both those should hit for sure.
Makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. Like, what? Okay, the game ends 3-1. You tip the cap, but it's like, hey, man, this is Luzardo's breakout game. All right, well, if it happens, it happens. Minnesota and Boston here. Kyle, Jax versus Houck on the mound. Heavy favorite here for Boston. They need to stack up some wins. -230 here in New Jersey, -212 offshore. 10.5s across the board. I do see a good chance here to get some runs because I did have Boston circled 5.5 at -125. 83 degrees at first pitch. Light wind blowing out. They should be able to attack this young kid and get after that bullpen. I see 6 runs in the future for the Boston Red Sox. How you looking here, Kyle?
I kind of agree, and I also, call me a sick, disgusting man, I kind of think the Twins are live dogs in this game. These are both, sort of young guys. I sort of like Griffin Jax started out a little rough, but he's been better. He's shown some real high upside, so he has shown flashes of being really good. Now, the Red Sox do profile nicely, an 863 weighted 3-year OPS. And then if you look at the other side, it's much, much lower here for Houck against Minnesota. But when I start just seeing numbers like that, and then the Red Sox are struggling a little bit, plus 215 in the first 5 innings, come on. I'm going to give Jax a little bit of a shot here. If he can show some of that electric stuff he has shown, Twins throw 1 or 2 runs across the board. For me, when I'm looking at big underdogs today, I'll take a little sprinkle on that. I'll say dog or pass and say Twins in the first 5 innings, plus 215. Let's go.
Hearn and Morgan here, Texas and Cleveland. Hearn is a lefty, obviously. Morgan, decent pitcher here, but we take a look at the numbers. Offshore, -150, we open up as a Cleveland favorite. Now sits at -164 here in New Jersey, 174, 9s across the board. I don't know how you trust Texas in this spot here. Trusting Cleveland, all right, but then again, you're going to pay that 175 price here with Morgan on the mound. Just one of those games that is on the card, and yes, we will cover it, but there's a lot of games at 7 o'clock, and this one will not be on my TV.
Yeah, look, the Indians' offense really not that bad against lefties in the last 30 days. You got Rosario, Ramirez, Reyes, Wilson Ramos should be the catcher in this spot, and Clement might be in the lineup as well as a right-handed bat. So there's some power. There's high-weighted OBAs in the middle of the lineup against lefties, and Hearn 5.72 xFIP, striking out under 20% of batters, also walking over 10% of batters. He hasn't been very good when it comes to facing righties at all throughout the season. So we'll probably see a ton of righties in the lineup against her early. So I think the Indians can get the job done, at least in the first 5 innings in this one.
All right, Kyle, Yankee streak come to an end tonight, playing the Atlanta Braves. Heaney, the lefty on the mound, versus Morton, 137 up from 130 offshore at Pinnacle here in New Jersey. Actually opened up at 154, down to 142. So I don't know if that's just that New Jersey Yankees tax here coming to play at FanDuel, New Jersey. We'll see if that plays out. But it's one team I don't want to fade. But if you do have a pitching mismatch over the first 5 innings tonight, probably it. Heaney did have a bounce-back performance, but I still can't get that sloppy left-handed curveball being hung out over the plate for a bunch of righties here for Atlanta. How are you looking at this game between the Yanks and the Braves?
I think you hit the nail absolutely on the head. And Charlie Morton has dominated. When he's faced these Yankees, he's been really, really good against the Yankees, especially in his last couple of starts. And when you look at some of these big-time hitters for the Yankees, there was some Aaron Judge home run prop odds boost. Aaron Judge, 1 for 20 in his career off Charlie Morton. Of course, the one hit was a home run, but 1 for 20. Gary Sanchez, 4 of 20. Joey Gallo, 0 for 13 in his career off of Charlie Morton. So there has been some success for the Braves. Now, they let us down yesterday. They were absolutely god-awful against another lefty they should have hit. I do like Montgomery more than Heaney. So I lean the Braves here, and I like a minus 0.5 in the first 5. I think both lineups are reasonably live for their team total. I'm not jumping on that just because for the Braves, it's that Yankees bullpen. And then, for the Yankees, it's just because they're the Yankees and they can crap against anybody, including a bad Braves bullpen here. Morton's been very good. I do think they have the pitching advantage in the first 5 innings. I completely agree with you, Donnie. I will take the Braves in the first 5 innings, minus 0.5 at a nice number.
Yeah, it should be a good one to watch. There's 2 guys in this on this camera right now, probably Yankee fans once again tonight. So let's see if the Yanks can continue to keep winning games and knock those Atlanta Braves down. Detroit and St. Louis, Mize and Flaherty, Jason. I know you have a play on this game. Yeah. Heavy favorite here. It's going up of many outlets. 169 offshore turned into 233, 215 here in New Jersey, up to 245. 8 and 7.5, 7.5 is showing here at FanDuel. So it doesn't look like many runs on the horizon, but Flaherty coming back here as that knight in shining armor, Jason.
Yeah, I'm not expecting that many runs in this game. Now, Mize, 5.35 xFIP, striking out under 15% of batters and also walking 9.2% of batters, but he's been mainly bad against lefties, right? 49 weighted OBA, ISO 556 against lefties. In the lineup, what are you going to get? You're going to get potentially 2 lefties in the lineup for the Cardinals. So there's not much there offensively against Mize, but Mize has been obviously the worst pitcher compared to Flaherty, who's got a 3.03 xFIP, striking out 31% of batters, walking 2.4%, in a small sample size since returning. But yeah, he's looked really good, earlier before the season or when the season just started, and then after his injury coming back, he's looked really good as well. And like I talked about earlier, the Tigers, they've got 3 bats that maybe give you a little bit of concern, but outside that, it's a really weak lineup. They're going to have to bat their pitcher. American League team really not used to doing that in the first place. So I like the Cardinals to get that shutout here, boosted on William Hill at plus 650, and we're going to roll with that.
There you go. And by the way, Kyle saw Celine Dion at her residency in Vegas and sat there until everybody left the arena just to take it all in. Colorado and Chicago, once. Marquez and Steele. Yeah, there you go. 9s across the board, 134, 129. I think Colorado's the better team in this game. I think they win this, and I think they get 5 runs tonight. The only matter of is maybe rain messes with the forecast a little bit. But if the game does play hot, muggy conditions, I think Colorado can hit tonight, and I think they'll win.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is they're on the road, right? So even last night, they won the first 5 innings and blew my best bet, right? And then they come back and somehow find a way to lose that game late in the game, and the Cubs find a way to win. So the Rockies are tough to back on the road, but I agree they've got a huge pitching advantage here. I'm not a big Marquez fan, but he's obviously better than this Justin Steele kid who burned us on a strikeout prop last week. Justin Steele, nothing ever more than 20 fantasy points here. Of course, German Marquez can deal. It's a low-weighted 3-year OPS here at 667. I agree with you. The Rockies should be able to hit. I do think their team total is live. Love those weather conditions out in Colorado. Over 4.5 minus 120. Just take the team. If you're going to back the Rockies, don't take them to win because they can't win on the road. Just take the team total. They should be able to get there. Bad bullpen, bad starter, warm weather. Rockies should score some runs tonight.
Yeah, Hugo out here in the chat box doing some research on Kyle here, so might want to scrub the internet of a couple things out here. Since it's
how'd you find that out?
I don't know, man. I thought you scrubbed that. 959, 960, Cincinnati, Milwaukee. Malley versus Burns. I love Corbin Burns tonight. He's a favorite over $2, 7.5 across the board. Do I want to spend that much for Milwaukee? Not necessarily, but I do think they're the better ball club tonight, and they should be able to hit Malley on the mound in my estimation. Jason, where are you looking here?
Yeah, look, the Reds' offense really good against righties in the last 30 days. An ISO of 281 with a sample size of about 70 plate appearances per batter. So they might be able to score some runs against Burns. And I think as an underdog, I think that they're a solid spot. But Milwaukee also, it looks like they're catching some fire offensively. Yelich, I think he has 5 hits in his last 10 at-bats. So he's starting to feel it a little bit. Got a couple home runs in the last series as well. So if Yelich gets going offensively, it could be really big for the Brewers as they continue their playoff push here. So I think we'll see runs in this game. I think the Reds can score some runs against Burns early. But it's so hard to bet against a guy like Burns. And even Malley has looked pretty good as of late, 4.20 xFIP, striking out 23.6% of batters, and just walking 3.3%. So this is a game where, it looks like both offenses can do damage, but they might not necessarily do that. So a game that I'm going to be staying away from, but I do think the Reds, as an underdog, are a solid play here.
Monster favorite here. Last game we'll talk about Kansas City versus Houston. Singer versus Garcia. 260 here in New Jersey. 265 at PointsBet. 265 at Parks, PA. 245 offshore. That's a big price to pay for Houston, but I am expecting runs in this one. 8.5 across the board. We'll see if Kansas City, boy, I would love it. Kansas City, give me 4 runs tonight, and I will love you for life. How about that, Kyle? Nice little
God, you do have the voice of an angel. They were talking about this in the chat.
So Jodeci.
This just reminds me of Step Brothers. I can't even look you in the eye right now. I can't even look at the fucking thing right. Okay, so look, here's the thing. Like, I agree. Yeah, Houston should be able to score. Singer was actually pretty solid his last start against Houston, put up 36 fantasy points. 2 games before that, 2 negative 12, 15. So there's certainly this, mountain of runs waiting to be scored here off of Singer, who's not a very good pitcher. And then on the flip side, Kansas City kind of torched up. Was in the same matchup. Singer got the better of Garcia here. I do expect Houston to get the revenge tonight. It's been hard to back them as a favorite. They seem to be trending in the wrong direction. So I will say, once again, the Royals are live underdogs. That's actually one thing I guess I got right yesterday. They pulled it out. But I do expect runs here. I'm not taking Houston on that money line or run line. I will go with Donnie. You got to go with that team total because right now you just can't trust him to win games.
Yep, there you go. And you can't trust in my voice either. Maybe I have these vocals over here, auto-tune. So we'll get it playing. Yeah. But this has been an extremely fun show. Thank you guys for bringing that heat all show long in the chat box. We're running up against that hour number, so we got to get out of here. But as always, before we do, we always clear the bases, let you guys know exactly what we're digging on tonight. And betting myself, I'll start with the odds boost. Harper, Bogarts, and Miguel Cabrera to at least get 1 hit apiece. That's boosted up to plus 250. My value menu wager play tonight, the Colorado Rockies 4.5 minus 115. And my play of the day coming from BetMGM. These 2 team totals are at BetMGM. That is the Houston Astros 4.5 minus 150. Play of the day. Looking for win number 36 tonight. Jason, what do you got tonight, man?
The value on the Angels over 2.5 in the first 5 on the team total at minus 136. The odds boost, that's going to be the Cardinals to get a shutout against the Tigers at plus 650 on William Hill. Then the big play, Nats over 2 in the first 5 on the team total at minus 110. Now, if it shoots back up to like minus 121, don't fret it and take that. We're going to cash that ticket and get 3 runs in this one.
Let's go, Kyle. What do you got tonight?
All right, let's go with the odds boost. Fernando Tatis over 2 plus. He could have 2 or more RBIs at plus 575. On that value menu, we've got the Nats team total over 3.5 minus 135. Our play of the day is going to be the Rays team total over 4.5 minus 110. In that same vein, we're going to take Ranger Suarez under 4.5 strikeouts at minus 155. And our home run props here that everyone likes. I got a list of, about 7 tonight. Big slate tonight. Jared Walsh, Pete Alonso, Nelson Cruz, Jose Abreu, Rafael Devers, Juan Soto, and, of course, the GOAT, Shohei Ohtani.
There you go. Awesome show. Close to 450 people watching live. That is sensational stuff on a Tuesday, guys. Thank you for that love and support. We appreciate it with the 119 thumbs up here. Let's cash some tickets tonight and really get after it. We'll be back once again here on a Wednesday to talk Major League Baseball. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. We're the sportsbookreview.com Major League Baseball team. And as always, good luck on those wagers tonight.